Yo, Chris Say!
Hey, Rick. You look great.
And you? All right, I do look great.
What? It was funny. Man, I can't believe you two are brothers. I mean, you guys don't look anything alike.
Let me guess. You guys must work here, because I know Chris doesn't have any friends.
Yep, I'm Kenan, and this is my good friend, Kel. You know, actually, Chris is a wonderful...
Hold that thought, Sparky. Rick here. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'd much rather have dinner with you, but I gotta do this boring family thing. Yeah, she still lives with her mother. All right, well, I'll talk to you later, Oprah.
Hey, you were talking to Oprah? I mean, Oprah, yeah, friends, don't go.
It's all right. Michael Jordan gave her my phone number, now she just won't stop calling me.
I ain't there about you, no, man.
You know, if I was meeting you for the first time, I'd probably say, hello, my name is Aaron.
And if I was meeting you for the first time, I would say, I don't know who you are, but my name is Adam. And this is Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron, the show where we talk about every episode of Kenan and Kel, just the two of us. No one else ever joins us, except...
Nope, nobody. Occasionally some friends from the Kenan and Kel universe, but definitely nobody else is joining us this week when we're talking about the episode Oh Brother, because clearly this is the perfect episode for Adam and I to record alone with no support or help. I'm kidding.
Not even me.
Woo! Who's that? A random voice that we can't hear.
This is Rachel, the lovely sister of Adam and Aaron.
Yes, we have a third sibling. Surprise, everyone. We've mentioned you before in the show.
Have you? What episode? I didn't hear it.
Let's see.
You'll have to listen to all of them to find out.
I know you watched a couple episodes with us in season 1. We were all sitting in our parents' house, and you were just cringing whole bodily at the mess that Kenan and Kel will get into.
They usually cause me physical pain when I watch them because I love them and they just keep messing up.
This is not a show you watch because you want people to like do well in life. You know what I mean? Like this is like a, hey, at least my situation isn't like that.
I guess my problems aren't that bad after all.
Right. But Kenan and Kel know how to have fun, and I don't know. I think the three of us know how to have fun. So this is a perfect episode as we're talking about one of our favorite characters' sibling.
Chris's brother's in town, and we're going to learn all about him.
Rick.
Oh, Rick.
I'm glad none of us is named Rick.
I was close. Rachel, Rick.
Yeah.
Am I the Rick in this story?
I think so. I don't know who's the Rick.
I know Aaron is definitely the Chris.
Hey, I think Adam has the most money, which would qualify.
That's fair.
I work my ponytail right now.
He kind of looks like a pirate who is also a chef.
I definitely got pirate vibes, like a bad Peter Pan, like takes from the rich and keeps it.
Yeah, he's what Captain Hook looks like when you take the big wig off him.
Yeah. If he had a pirate hat, he would fit in. But so I guess we should get into it, everybody. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right.
Kenan and Kel walk onto stage, and Kenan, I can't stress this enough. Their style is so different in this season. Kenan looks totally ordinary. He's got a regular shirt on and regular jeans, and Kel is just insanely dressed.
Yeah, he's got the big old blue jumpsuit, like tracksuit, with like a red short sleeve button down underneath it.
I wrote Hawaiian shirt.
Hawaiian, yeah. There's a Hawaiian vibe there.
I feel like Kel gives me strong Uncle Joey vibes. We have an uncle named Joey, and it's uncanny.
The way that he moves and like
yes.
Yeah, and our Uncle Joey is a mime, or was a mime. So I think Kel has that same mime, like funny, goofy, slapstick.
And the backwards hat, gotta mention.
I think on the intro, he started to do some like turning around and was like pretending to run away. And I was like, that's exactly what Uncle Joey would
Very
do.
Uncle Joey.
Exactly. Yeah. So Kenan tells Kel that he actually doesn't have any more crazy ideas to get them into trouble.
Nope, he's all out.
He's all out. So Kel turns around and says, "Okay, good, let's go home." And then he does like a little like a running in place thing, but Kenan, of course, is holding him in place.
Yeah, Kenan pulls out for I think the first time in the show a flip phone.
Yeah, a cellular device.
Yeah, in season 1 they had a giant like brick phone and doing things with Hemingway.
That's right.
As the emergency cell phone. And this one they have this little flip, and it's amazing that things have changed so much.
Yeah. But he does have to pull up the antenna before he makes a call.
Oh, man. How times have changed.
Just to be safe. Yeah.
So who is he calling, Aaron?
He's actually calling the trouble hotline. Press 1 for a donkey-related trouble emergency. Press 2 for an elderly trouble emergency.
That was my favorite.
Yeah, just in case. And press 3 for a TV show-related emergency.
I'm pretty
trouble.
sure.
I don't know if it was emergency, but it was trouble.
Trouble, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was Chris's voice, too.
Oh, yeah?
On the trouble hotline. I think it was.
I didn't identify anyone, so he plays a lot of characters this episode, so I would not be surprised.
When we interview him, Rachel, we'll we'll have you call in, dial in.
Yes.
Can you? Was that
here's
you on
the
the
trouble
phone?
hotline.
He'll be like, no.
Fan question.
He'll be like, I have no idea and I don't remember.
Yeah, no idea.
The next prompt is that if your show is Cousin Skeeter, press 1. If your show is Kenan and Kel, press 2.
Yeah. So they press 2, and what do they find out?
Oh man, you don't need any trouble suggestions from me. You'll have plenty of problems to deal with in tonight's show. Is what the voice says.
Kenan goes, "There you have it. Come on, Humpty."
And he runs off.
And they're off to the races.
Kel asks a really good question, which is, Kenan, how come all of us heard the phone?
I love when Kel gets super logical, and he's like, "Wait a second."
Oh, like drops of inspiration.
Yep.
There were so many moments in this episode, where I was like, Kel just gets me every time. Anytime he opens his mouth, I am just laughing hysterically.
This was a great Kel episode.
I would say so. I have to say, out of all the shows and episodes that we watched, this might be the least Kenan and Kel in any Kenan and Kel.
Yeah, I think so. There's definitely not a lot, but they are still like kind of like pulling the strings of the puppets. You know, like they're causing everything that happens in this pretty much.
What's our opening scene, Rachel?
They're at Rigby's, and just to start us off, Kel didn't have any music coming out of his headphones, so he plugged it into an apple and started dancing, which very Kel of him.
I really want to hear the music coming out of that apple.
He's dancing like crazy.
You know, guys, they do that. They hook up like fruit and fungi to these like synth machines.
You would know that.
Get like sound play. Oh yeah. And then they're like, oh look, the fungi are talking. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
So I think Kel is pretty advanced in his earphone selection. I do love that he's wearing a light blue bucket hat and like a yellow Hawaiian shirt, and his headphones are also yellow. So his outfit and jeans, his outfit just matches. It's a great
spot on.
Outfit.
Aaron, do you think this was foretelling of the upcoming device, the Apple iPod?
I wrote that down.
Yes. I don't know the timeline of Apple, but I do think that this inspired that. Rachel,
definitely.
Kenan and Kel has inspired Google. Like the founding of Google from Google Puffs in the first episode.
It's a cereal they eat.
Yeah. What else, Adam? What else has Kenan and Kel inspired?
You know what's funny? We've done 60 or so episodes of this show, and I still go back to that first episode as the
that's
example.
All is inspired. So yes, Google and Apple can thank their origins to Kenan and Kel. Kenan, when we started the scene, Kenan was smelling a block of cheese. But that's beside the point. Okay, let's move on.
And then Chris came out.
Oh yeah, Chris is out and about and having the worst day of his life.
Oh, I felt real bad for him because he's stressed out about Mother's birthday, and I like the way that he continues to say Mother. Mother's birthday.
That's always how he refers to his mom. Mother, 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 mother. And Rachel, we have to tell you about Mother.
Oh, tell me more about Mother.
We have been, throughout this podcast, we have been digging deep into who Chris's mother is, because she's a very, very odd character.
Yeah, she's never seen in the context of the show, but Chris is always talking about crazy things that he's doing with her. In one particular episode, where Kenan and Kel suspect one of their student classmates is a witch, Chris has a lot of inside knowledge about that. Specifically, and one of our major pet theories is that Chris's mother is a witch.
Wow. I believe it after this episode. Yep.
Yeah. One of her children is like very good and one of them is very bad. She's like experimented. She also loves Funk Bus and Les Meats, which is a restaurant in the Kenan and Kel universe.
Oh, yeah. And what we find out later in this episode is that she loves Egypt and anything to do with pyramids.
Mm-hmm. And you know about all the conspiracy stuff associated with Egypt and the pyramids.
And dark energy and dark matter and electricity and
This is all coming full circle.
Yeah, I've got one other point like late in the episode to add to our theory, but we'll come back to that. So Chris is running around like our mom does and just cleaning up everything before company comes.
Accurate.
Yeah, it's almost like because Kenan now has to clean as well. Chris is telling Kenan that he has to clean, and so Chris is almost cleaning before Kenan cleans, which is also something our mom does.
The pre-cleaning cleaning.
Yes.
Yeah, he does ask Kenan to scrub every item in the store with a toothbrush.
Not just any toothbrush, my toothbrush. He says like,
no,
this is mine. I use it on
man.
everything. So Chris is mostly cleaning up because of his brothers coming here. Rick.
Yeah.
I promise I will never clean up for you guys.
Thank you.
Can we do that across the board?
Okay, deal.
I know that Adam does not clean up for me.
Okay. You don't think I do. That's the crazy part.
Oh, man.
Okay, we're making a pact. Thank you, Rick and Chris. Next scene's at the Rockmores, and I feel Kenan in this scene.
Can I say what he said?
Yes,
yeah,
go ahead.
Sure.
He says, "Can't move, too tired." In the most dramatic voice, most Kenan voice ever.
His like back is on the couch and his neck is like propped up against the back of the couch, and his legs are on the coffee table. And he worked so hard. He actually cleaned everything for Chris, and he is just like, too much work. Never work again in my life.
Yeah, no, he's totally exhausted. He's like, I do not want to move from this spot. And of course, Roger comes in and says, Kenan, move on and watch TV.
Yeah. I'm never getting off this couch. Roger says, Kenan, get off the couch. I'm instantly.
Well, so Kel's also in the scene, still jamming on an apple. Just sitting in the other chair, like dancing.
He was.
Yeah.
It's those little moments I don't pick up until I talk about it.
Yep.
And Mr. Rockwell, another thing is that I want to say that he's like, this is like a Saturday, because he's got his like fixing the house outfit on. He has a little toolbox that he drops off. You blink and you miss it.
I think I have the same shoes as Roger. I'm not going to lie.
It's like our dad on a Saturday, how he always wears the same khaki pants and white t-shirt. And he's doing yard work.
Yep.
Yeah. I will specify they are not like nice khakis. They were once nice khakis, but after 20 years of yard work, they're the yard work pants.
They're work khakis. You know, some people have work jeans. He has work khakis. Why not?
Yeah.
But Roger has work sweatpants.
Mm-hmm.
I like how Kenan and Roger are almost wearing the same outfit. Like Kenan's wearing like gray sweatpants with like a baby blue shirt, and Roger's wearing a white shirt with like a blue shirt on top, and then
when they sit next to each other, it's very apparent.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. They're just sitting next to each other on the couch, and then Cheryl comes out with some fresh baked cookies.
Oh man.
Yeah. Kel's like, is excited about this, and he's so excited he grabs the tray of hot cookies.
Yeah, then the cookies fly everywhere, and the pan flies onto Roger. Roger stands up, gets the pan off, has to cool himself off, so he grabs the vase of flowers, sunflowers or flowers. Some of them are yellow flowers, and he pours it on himself.
Yeah, there's clearly some of that like what do you call flower
Flower
nutrients
juice.
in it
Flower juice.
because it's all yellow, and he pours it right in his pants.
And Kenan goes, "You know what that looks like, right?"
He's like, yes, I know what it looks like.
And Cheryl very like smartly like walks Roger out of the scene. It's like, come on, let's get you away from Kel.
I love how calm Cheryl is during all of this. Like, if I just made a batch of cookies and someone like Kel came in, grabbed them, and threw them all over the floor, I would not react like her.
She's the level-headed one of the Rockmores.
Yeah, she's the ultimate co-regulator. She's like, okay, Roger is about to explode. I'm just gonna calm him down, get him up upstairs, away from Kel, and then she, as she's walking him upstairs, Cheryl says to Kenan, "Kenan, Chris called. He wants you to come in early tomorrow and clean the store again."
Kenan loudly laments at this. He says, "I can't do another hard day's work."
Yeah.
Poor Kenan.
It's too hard.
Kenan decided, he said, if only Chris didn't care what his brother thinks, and if only his life wasn't so boring and uninteresting. And that kind of sparked his plan.
Yeah, Kenan's plan is like, wait a second, let's make Chris's life seem incredibly exciting and fun and extraordinary. Kel, give me the phone. And Kel goes, oh, that is a great idea. When Rick sees Chris with his phone, he's going to be so impressed. And Kel's like, yeah, this is a great plan. This is a great plan.
Yeah. He's like, no, man, I need the phone. It's like, call. Oh, never mind. Then do you guys catch the number that he calls?
Yes. 555 plan.
Lots of hotlines this show. The cell phone must have really been exploding right now. It's like T-Mobile cell coverage, and it's like sponsored by Nickelodeon, sponsored by AT&T.
In hindsight, who does he call? Because his plan that you unveil in the next scene, it doesn't. I don't know what number he can immediately dial to make that happen.
I think he called the agency, Adam.
Okay, yeah, I guess so.
That's the agency.
We're back at Rigby's.
Can we talk about Kenan's shirt?
Yes, we can. His Jaguar print shirt.
Before we talk about Kenan's shirt, can we talk about what Chris says to the customer? Because it might have been my favorite part of the whole episode.
I was trying to skip by that.
Nope. He says, thank you for shopping at Rigby's. I can't get it out.
I'm just as good as my brother.
I don't know if I overlaughed at that, but I really enjoyed it.
And she's like, oh, I'm sure you are. Let me go.
Christopher is really just kind of like living up to like that idea as he goes around hastily cleaning things still across the Rigby's.
He's cleaning and straightening out. He goes over to straighten these Pringle looking chips called Ridges with the Pringles man on it, original flavored. Sorry, I don't know why I pointed that out. I'm just looking at it right now. Anyways, Kenan and Kel are here to tell Chris their awesome plan.
Let's talk about their outfits real quick.
Okay, thank you.
Kenan's this very large, I want to say like Hawaiian style, but it's Jaguar print, right?
Yeah, it's like Jaguar camo. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's
and
else.
Kel's wearing like a backwards baby blue. Everything's baby blue this episode. He's wearing like a backwards baby blue like satin hat, and he's got this like very kind of nice shirt on for the late 90s.
I'd say so. And yeah, they're talking about Chris. They're like, we got a plan. What's the one thing that you have that your brother doesn't?
And he says, my pewter cow collection. And I have to say, I had to go on Google and be like, what's so special about this? And I promise they are not special at all. They're like what you would see in a nativity scene.
Well, Rachel, you're not aware of this. That's one of Chris's traits this whole season, is that he's
whole
very
series.
proud of these. Heavily in the past 2 seasons, he's very proud of this. A bunch of these like pewter cow statues that he has in the back room. He like gives Kenan one of them for his graduation.
So it wasn't just an off-the-cuff collection
no.
he has.
This is a key character trait.
It's probably funnier if it was an off-the-cuff one. Like, because having seen it like 10 times now, it's not as funny to me.
It's been a while for me.
Yeah, we see him polishing them. But then they say, no, Chris, a wife and kids.
And so they explain that they hired a wife and kids to play his family to impress Rick.
And Chris is not having it.
Oh man, what could go wrong?
Well, I like how initially Chris isn't about it. He's like, I don't need that plan. This is going to work out just fine. I got Mother a perfect gift.
He's going to be envious enough when he sees my gift.
What is his gift, Rachel?
The exact replica of an Egyptian pyramid, and it pretty much is just the size of a small rock.
Actually, Rachel, I think it is a small rock. I think this was taken from the studio courtyard.
It doesn't even have like the polish of like a paperweight. It feels like someone found this outside.
Yeah.
He looked at it like it was pure gold.
But it's wrapped up in this nice little tin. And this is when he reveals that his mother loves anything to do with Egypt, which makes you think, why? Anyways, that's all I thought. And they're like, oh, great gift.
Rick enters, and speaking of outfits, Rick is dressed to kill right now.
He's like Gaston.
I swear that they found this from like a Beauty and the Beast play. It was like on back set.
Aaron, what his outfit made me think of immediately was Kenan's outfit in Who Loves Who at the dance. He wears like, you're calling it like a vampire black with all these big buttons.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It looks just like that outfit.
Yeah, and obviously Chris's brother is played by none other than Chris himself.
Dan Frischman.
Dan Frischman did an
With
excellent
a nice
job.
goatee, little beard. Is it a goatee or a beard?
It's a goatee.
That's goatee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say that he's definitely playing an evil twin type vibe. Although he's not specifying this episode as being older, younger, or like the same age as a twin. He's just called his brother.
Adam, I don't know if these Chris and his brother were born.
You think they were grown or raised?
Became.
If the witch theory is correct, then
well, I'm thinking like in the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie Twins, where it's like Chris is like they're both formed at the same time, and one got all the evil and one got all the good. So he's got all like the traits that Chris doesn't have. That's why he's so like successful and like ambitious.
They're exact opposites, but look exactly the same.
Exactly. So what are some of the digs that Rick makes right off the bat?
Chris is like, you look great. He's like, you're right, I do look great.
And Kenan and Kel start busting out laughing.
Yeah, he's immediately funnier to them.
Yep. And then he goes, I guess these people must work here because you don't have any friends.
Coming in hot.
And then he answers his phone, right?
Oh, yes. Yes, he sure does.
Yep. And then he basically just humiliates Chris, says he's with his loser brother or something along those lines, and hangs up.
I'd much rather be having dinner with you. I'll talk to you later, Oprah.
And he said, she keeps calling me.
Yeah. Michael Jordan gave her my number, and now she won't stop calling.
At this point, Kenan and Kel are just all over Rick, like freaking out. They're like, oh my God.
As anyone would be if Oprah called them.
Yeah, they have a very Josh reaction to him learning that he's connected to Oprah.
Yeah, Josh from Drake and Josh. That's great. Good reference.
Yep. The carryover. There's definitely a carryover here. With this was when Oprah was huge, right? Wasn't Oprah like this is like the best of Oprah? Early 2000s.
I don't know I would call like the when she does the you get a car like thing. So
That's probably
right
prime
around
Oprah.
now. Worth mentioning, this episode aired October 27th of 1999. So this was kind of a Halloween episode as we get into later into it.
Oh, I can
that
see the
makes sense.
foreshadowing. Yes.
That makes sense.
But anyway, Chris is now gonna show off his birthday gift for Mother, but not before Rick mentions his gift.
Yep. 2-week vacation to Egypt because Mother loves Egypt.
Poor Chris.
I'll tell you guys. I'll be honest. I forgot what the gift was going to be. I thought Rick had purchased her a pyramid. I thought it was like something like to that degree.
We knew it was going to be big.
That would have been just absolutely ridiculous.
Then Rick goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. What were you going to say that you have?"
I have a wife and kids. Chris blurts out.
And Kel says, "We picked them out ourselves." And he heads over to the door and says, "Hey kids, showtime." At the door.
Yeah, so I love this moment. This is my favorite moment of the episode. The two kids run in and they're like, "Daddy, Daddy," and then they hug Kenan.
Kenan kind of shuffles him over to Chris. He's like, "No, not me."
And then his wife shows up.
And she looks around the room.
Yeah, she's like, "Who is the guy?"
"Where is my husband?" Like Kenan's like pointing and like, "There you are."
And then Chris kind of gives her like a little side hug, and she's like, "Don't kiss me."
Yeah. She says like in a very rehearsed way, "Every moment without you is like an eternity."
Meanwhile, they were just waiting
so
outside, right, waiting for the moment to reveal themselves.
We should say that that Rick is in the same scene, but it's shot like a split screen. Like he's off to the side with like no one, and Chris is on the other side with like his family.
Yeah,
family.
His brand new family.
You believed
fresh
it.
off the boat. And then Rick basically just sees right through this. He's like, "This is not real."
Well, I think first he said, "You're even more of a disaster." He pretty much already put him down for having a wife and 2 kids, and then that's where I thought it was going. And then he knew right away. I feel like in Kenan and Kel episodes, I just kind of assume that they're all going to be naive to things like that, but Rick saw right through it.
Well, I think in a different episode, this would have been the whole plot. Or maybe like a different sitcom, but the show's kind of like this savvy at this point that they were like, we're not gonna waste the whole episode on this plot.
Either that, or they needed a Halloween episode.
Yeah, so they ditched that idea and did this one instead.
Yep, because it does kind of feel like a little, you know what I mean? Like it feels like there's a little bit of, okay, wait a second, I'm looking at the screen right now, and there's no way, there's definitely a stand-in for Rick when they don't show Rick's face.
Oh yeah,
the jawline is too defined for it to be Dan Friedman. There's definitely like a backup like Rick, like standing there when his family's there. Anyways,
yeah, I think because this was filmed from a live studio audience, they probably had like a stand-in Rick, and then they filmed the Chris as Rick scenes later.
Definitely, it's just kind of funny how bad it is.
I would love to go back and actually watch it like that because I wasn't thinking about it when I was watching it. But it is the same person, and that would never happen.
Yeah, right. It must have been weird for them to film these, but they did. They pulled it off. This is a great scene. Anyways, the plan is foiled almost instantly, and then Chris's not wife, basically goes over and hits on Rick.
Yeah, she says, "Can I buy you some coffee?" He's like, "Yeah, sure," and they leave.
As if it couldn't get any worse for Chris.
The kids also leave and call him a loser. So, just piling it on, Chris.
I love that they didn't even know him and they called him a loser.
That's kind of Chris's life. He just people don't respect him as a grocer.
We've gone through most of the show, Aaron, that he spends all his time with Mother. Like countless amount of time. Like they live together and like they do all kinds of activities. But according to him, his mother loves Rick more.
Right.
Which it baffles me.
Yeah, no, I think it's one of those like somebody's around all the time, you don't even like
Kind of takes it for
necessarily.
granted.
Yeah, he takes him for granted, right? But Chris is doing the right thing. I mean, he's like helping his mother who needs help, and Rick's off gallivanting with all these rich people, and he probably just gives mother money and gifts, and so she's like, "Oh, Rick, when are you gonna be more like Rick?"
It's that idea of success over time. She's like, Rick's so successful.
Mm-hmm. Well,
exactly.
Well, Chris very much wants to give Rick a piece of his mind. So the next scene is in the back room of Chris, like really just giving the licking.
I was cheering him on.
You get him, Chris. We zoom out, and Chris is talking to a head of iceberg lettuce with Rick's face drawn on it.
And his face is angry. It's got a little goatee. It's very funny.
I relate a lot to this, prepping for a big confrontation. I'm gonna try to use, I think, a cabbage next time, with a face. I think that's great practice.
I will say, Aaron, to your point about having the same outfit, I'm like 90% sure I have this tie that Chris has, this yellow and black tie. It's rare that I see a piece of clothing on the show that I'm like, that's me, and this one is.
I most identify with Chris's wardrobe.
Yes.
Do you think they had a big budget for their wardrobe, Adam? Think it was a Kohl's tie?
It's possible.
No, Sears. They're in Chicago.
The Sears Tower.
Yeah. Kel is, meanwhile, he's back. Oh, Kenan comes back, tells Chris that his brother's out front, and Chris is like, okay, let's do this. We go to the front. Kel is playing with Rick's ponytail, and he goes, so this came off of a pony?
Oh, Kel.
Yes. So, and Chris starts with him. He's like, Rick, I am sick and tired. And then Rick, immediately, he takes a good look at him and then, starts, shying away.
Yeah, he couldn't get it out. He just couldn't say it. I was waiting to see what he was going to say. I thought he was going to say, I'm sick and tired, and leave it there, and almost he was going to use him being sickly as a reason for Rick to be nice to him, but he did not go there.
Nope. He says, I'm sick, but I'm getting better.
Yeah, I've got a sinus thing that's going on. Yeah, and that's when Rick. I will say this seems like an extra day later because Rick has changed his outfit.
Unfortunately,
he's got a blood red turtleneck on and a leather jacket.
Rick actually matches Kel, who's wearing the same color jumpsuit.
Yeah, right.
He's wearing red hat, red shirt, red pants, the ones that button up.
Rick announces his good news, which what is that, Rachel?
That he bought Rigby's.
How could it get any worse?
Well, I like how Chris doesn't question this at all. He's not like, but it's not for sale. Like, who do you buy it from?
Yeah, he owns it.
That's amazing. It was not for sale.
Yep. Chris was like, what do you mean? That's right, Chrissy. I figure with my golden touch, even I could turn this dump into a winner. Like me, I think he says.
I wonder if it's their mothers.
Yeah, that might be. We've speculated about this before. Like maybe it belongs to her.
Oh right, Adam, didn't we say that Rigby is Chris's mother's maiden name?
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, did we say that before, or did I just make that up on the spot?
I think we have discussed what is Rigby.
Yeah.
Because it's not his name's Chris Potter. However, if he was grown, then her name would always have been Mrs. Potter. Right. Another magic connection there, Rachel. The Potter family.
Oh, Harry Potter.
Yep.
Wow.
Chris Potter inspired Harry Potter.
Oh, there we go.
There's the other one.
That all makes sense. JK was a big fan of Kenan and Kel.
She was a big Kenan and Kel fan across the pond.
And she was really inspired by Chris Potter. It was like, that's going to be a hero.
People across the pond love Kenan and Kel. I don't even know if she's...
As they should.
I honestly don't know. Is she British, JK
Yes.
Rowling? Okay. I know something.
I know one thing.
All right, so this is just not a good situation for Chris.
Now, upon learning this, he faints and like falls back, his legs kick up.
Yeah, which just makes him look more pathetic to his brother.
And then in the next scene, when they head to Kenan's house, Kenan reenacts this to his parents.
It's probably my favorite Kenan moment of the episode. He falls back and his legs go up.
He was all like,
it's some good writing this episode, I gotta say.
I think that this is one of the best written episodes.
Funny you say that. This episode is the 5th written by Wayne Conley, who's done such classics as The Raffle, as well as I'm Gonna Get You, Kenan, IQ Can Do Better, The Honeymoon's Over, and this one, Oh Brother.
I think he's hitting his stride. This is a great episode. So far, everybody's being used pretty well. Like we said, not really super heavy Kenan and Kel, but when they have their moments, I think they shine.
In a usual episode, we've already seen like all of Roger and Cheryl that we will have seen, but they're in it for like now and like most of the rest of the episode, which is really uncommon and awesome. Our
favorite TV dad. Sorry, moment of silence for our other favorite TV dad.
Oh,
it's very sad. The passing of the Full House father.
Yeah,
that's
Bob Saget.
We got to give love to our TV dads out there.
Mm-hmm. And they got to give love back. Ken Forey just liked your the post of when Omicron ruins your plans.
Oh, no way, really? He gives love
he
back. Yeah, Rachel, we're being followed by both Ken Forey and Teal, who are Roger and Cheryl.
They follow us on Twitter.
Yeah. That is a claim to fame right there. That's gold.
We're probably going to ask them for interviews at the end of the show.
Oh, you have to. I would actually listen.
We'll probably get some fan questions too, so don't you worry. Kel barges in. He goes, "Sorry, I'm late." And I go, "Kel, you weren't invited." And then Kel just makes himself at home.
He says, "I guess I'm not sorry then."
Proceeds. They get another knock on the door. It's Chris, and he looks a mess.
He is a scant. He is a be-tattered.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel, you got a word?
I don't have a very big vocabulary.
Disheveled. Unkept.
He looks shooketh.
There we go.
If you want to make it a Chris word, just add a B in front of it. Be shooketh.
I got nothing, guys. Because all I'm thinking about is Kel tossing the salad all over the table during this moment.
Yeah. It's great. He says, "Don't you know it's rude to show up when you're not invited?" As he's destroying their salad.
And so Chris comes in, slumps on the chair, goes, "I'm not living with Mother anymore." And everybody's just like, "What the heck?"
He also says that I quit Rigby's. I refuse to work for my brother. I still have dignity. Then as this food goes everywhere, he's like, "Food!" And he runs across the ground and grabs it and, like a hermit.
At least I still have my dignity.
I was going to say he works in a grocery store. He should have food. I mean, it couldn't have been that long since he was there.
He's been unemployed. He's been unemployed a full 2 hours.
Yeah. And they're all like, "What are you going to do?" And he's like, "I guess I'll just wander the street for a while and sleep in a pile of trash somewhere."
As soon as he said, "I'm a big boy now."
Yeah. Everybody's like, "Oh, Chris, that's terrible." Don't offer him any food. Nobody offers him a place to stay. And then they're just like, "Okay, see you, Chris."
Kel says, "Okay, bye, Chris. Peace."
Peace.
And he goes to the door and he's like, "I'm going now." And that's when they're finally like, "Chris, why don't you stay with us temporarily?"
And he's like, "Okay, I'll grab my stuff."
And he wheels in 4 suitcases and a giant crate.
There's more luggage than there is door, almost.
Yeah, right. It barely gets in there. And he immediately turns on the tune. And it's just like, "Are you guys going to stand there or help me with my bags?" So right before the commercial break, they're like, "Uh-oh, we're in trouble."
My favorite part of this was as soon as he wheeled in the giant wardrobe thing, there was a real reaction from somebody in the crowd. She goes like, "Oh!" She was like, there's somebody who's just taken aback by this moment.
By how much luggage there is.
I was like, you know what? That is an appropriate response.
It's great when you can isolate those.
That definitely is. I like when someone from an audience stands out, when you can actually
Yeah.
hear like a "oh yeah" or something that's a little bit different. That's
Yeah.
great.
Oh no. Oh, we heard her. If you're listening to this, you remember this moment.
Yeah, please send us an email, KenanKelPodcast@gmail.com.
Adam, we should get that on a shirt.
just the email.
Send us an email.
Do you guys get
Just
any
say-
emails?
Oh yeah, we got a
Yeah.
couple of fans that like Fantas as we call them. They write to us.
We've got a handful of emails.
Can I say hello to our fans? I've always wanted to
Yeah.
do that. Hello.
Yeah. Wow. Dear diary, today I said hello to the fans.
They're not my fans, but I'll make you my fans.
I think Rachel, I think everybody's a fan of you. Definitely adding a nice different perspective to this episode.
Thanks. I would ask for feedback, but I don't want any.
Nope, we don't give feedback.
and don't send us an email about feedback.
Yeah, do not send us an email about Rachel to KenanKelPodcast@gmail.com.
They're all going to be coming in now.
We don't want to know. Post commercial break. Yep.
Yeah. What's up with what's Chris doing in this scene, Rachel?
Oh man, it's nighttime. And Chris is sleeping on the couch, and he has a nightmare, and he screams, "Mother, help! Mother, help!" And he starts screaming out for his mother in this nightmare. And of course, the lovely parents come down to check on him.
Because there's a grown man screaming in their living room.
Yep.
Yeah.
He goes. The nightmare starts. Oh no, Mr. Porcupine.
I think Chris and Kel, by their phrases that they say in their sleep, have very similar sleep patterns. Because I recall Kel talking about Mr. Cow and stuff like that.
Yeah, dreaming about animals. I don't think I've ever dreamed about an animal that I'm like friends with.
All my dreams are people.
Are you friends with many animals?
I'm friends with my dog. Yeah, but that's about it.
Yeah. Do you have any dreams about Coda?
No, but he definitely dreams about me.
Does he write about it?
I can tell. Yeah, he has a dream journal. It's very vivid. He doesn't let me read it. Anyways,
Just like a paw print.
And you're like, another one about me?
So Roger and Cheryl come down, and they're like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm just not going to sleep anymore tonight. I can't sleep after a nightmare."
And then they ask, how can we help? And he asks Cheryl for some hot cocoa. And he asks Roger to rock him to sleep.
And Roger's just like a champ. He's just always down. He's never happy about it, but he's always down to help.
He does what needs to be done.
He does.
Yeah. At first
Swallows
he pushes
his
back.
pride. Constantly swallows his pride.
It's so true.
At first he says, Chris, I'm not going to rock you to sleep.
That's a great Roger impression.
Thank you. Thank
That's
you.
fine-tuned.
Finally.
It's like deep.
Nobody understands the Roger impression. I hope he does when we interview him.
we should just do impressions of him the whole time we're talking to him. That's
That's
the most
terrible.
respectful thing to do, right?
He wouldn't hate that at all.
So this is a great scene, by the way. So Roger sits next to Chris, and he puts his arm around him. It looks like a headlock, but it's not really.
It does.
And
it's
he's
kind of like a headlock.
and so this is Ken Foree and Dan Frischman in this scene. I mean, this is amazing acting. They're sitting down. Roger's rocking him. And he's rockabye, baby.
How many takes did they have to do?
I know.
I also like how he doesn't know the rest of the lyrics because he's like, the cradle.
Can you please ask him about this if you get the chance to interview him? I want to know about this scene.
Yeah. Also worth noting that Chris is wearing a red onesie this whole scene.
Oh yeah. It's a very great onesie. This is why I love episodes. Like some episodes don't have Roger and Cheryl or Chris or other characters, and I love when they do because of moments like this. Like this is, I know it's Kenan and Kel, But this is a moment where it's just like, here are characters that we've come to love over the years, and they're having like a moment together. Like Kenan and Kel aren't in this scene. It's Roger, Cheryl, and Chris.
Yeah, that's
and
a
it's
good
great.
point. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah,
Are
it's
they
a
ever in
fantastic
scenes
scene.
together? Do you think are they often in scenes together? Like, is Chris with?
It's been very ancillary. Just off to the side. Maybe they have a couple words. I think they had Chris over for Christmas, which was very nice.
Right, but usually Kenan and Kel are there. So I don't know. I appreciate when the adults get like I don't know, because
by themselves.
They're great actors and actresses. They really have been. They've been on the show. They know each other. Known each other for 4 years, and it's just fun. Like when they get to do this.
And honestly,
I loved it.
This scene could have been Kenan and Kel coming downstairs to take care of Chris, but it's
right,
almost
exactly.
I think the writers said, no, it's funnier if it's Roger and Cheryl.
Yeah, and it was funnier too.
It was.
They're like, okay, we'll get you some cocoa, grown man. I'll
I
rock
feel
you
like-
to sleep, big baby.
I feel like Kel has very little tolerance for Chris. Like you said, he's very like blunt and straightforward with Chris. Like the whole episode, he's like, "Well, he said he didn't want to do this, and bye." I don't know how comforting Kel would be in that moment.
It's a funny juxtaposition because usually Cal just takes total advantage of Chris. So the second Chris needs help, like Cal isn't giving him an inch.
Right. So in this scene, like if Kel came down and was like consoling Chris, he'd be like, "Well, what happened to Mr. Porcupine? Like, why wasn't he your friend anymore?"
What did you do to him?
That's
Yeah,
terrible.
First you ruined things with your mother, then your brother, now him. That's the Kel reaction.
Very literal.
Right. After this, this nightmare of a scene for Roger and Cheryl, we go to the new and improved Rigby's.
That's what the apron says that he's wearing.
The new apron that Kenan's wearing is a white apron. It says new and improved Rigby's, and it's like a cartoon drawing of Rick on it.
Yes. There's also a big sign behind the counter that says "Better Management."
Oh man.
And let's talk about. We've been talking about outfits this whole episode. Let's talk about Kenan's new look.
Oh, that new uniform.
Rachel, can you get a bucket hat and do that with your hair?
No, I don't think I have the volume.
Kenan has a bucket hat. I don't know what's on it, but it's like a white and it's got something on it. And then he cut out the top and his hair is like in a ponytail, like his dreads. Yeah.
It's funny because you guys talk a lot about outfits, which is something that I didn't once take note on, and now I remember his hair sticking out, but that's something I'd have to go back to. But I did recognize that his uniform was terrible because they said it was a new uniform, and I think Rick at one point said, "Yeah, like you can't wear it out, or you can leave with it."
Yeah, he says that. Okay, if you want to wear the uniform outside of work, that's fine. Just keep it clean.
It's like the ugliest.
Yeah, I think the hats, the apron, and his white pants all have this like leopard print trim to it. And I don't know what's tools of the trade book Rick has been reading, but I feel like he's got a real motto, or like he's trying to do like those entrepreneur like tips and tricks. I feel like he's not really super wealthy and successful.
Yeah, he comes out wearing a turtleneck. And I'm just like, oh man, ponytail and turtleneck with the goatee. I'm so jealous. No, I'm just kidding.
A turtleneck is like a very, like for him, it's like they were like, how can you look like a snob in this scene that goes with your
Right.
character? And they're like, a turtleneck.
Right. Yeah, a turtleneck and cargo pants. Like
Yes.
that's a power move. Like
If you can pull it off, more power to you.
right.
And the cool thing about Rick in this scene is that he really interferes with everyone. Like he's made Kenan look like goofy, and Kel does his classic "Who Loves Orange Soda" bit, and Rick is right next to him, just interrupting him as he's doing it. That rarely happens on the show.
And Kel said, "Who loves orange soda?" And Rick said, "A lot of people love orange soda." And I got mad. Like, you don't interrupt Kel when he's singing about orange soda.
Kel is like befuddled. Kel is...
he very similar. He's like, "Excuse me, I'm doing a thing here."
Does Kel ever address that he sings that song? Like, or is it just something he always does? Like, I feel like here he's like, "This is my bit." This is what I do.
I think it's like the Chris Pewter cow collection. Like that's just a character trait. Like,
Yeah.
Kel always sings about orange soda.
There's this little jingle.
And then Kel goes to Rick. He's upset that he won't let him finish his song, and he goes, "Well, you just lost a customer, bub. I am never taking anything for free from this store again."
Yeah, this is Kel's reaction, because he's very much like, "Hey, you have to pay for that orange soda," and Kel's aghast. He sprays it everywhere. He stands immediately in like the puddle. Yeah, so he starts ripping free stuff out of his outfit. He's like, "I'll take it back. Something's just stolen from Rigby's."
Or Rick has all the power now because he thought he was getting back at him, but really he's just giving him all the things that he was going to steal.
You're right. Yeah. Rick says, "What's your story?" Kenan's like, "Don't worry about him. I got to talk to you about Chris." And then Kel comes back in, grabs a roll of paper towels or like a whole set of paper towels. He goes, "This is the last free thing I am ever taking from this store."
Yeah, and he leaves with it. Rick does not want to like make peace with Chris. He's just kind of like, he's just being a big baby. He'll get over it.
He's just a villain, a senseless villain.
He's not very helpful. He doesn't want to repair things. And I'm honestly, he gets some comeuppance by the end of this, but it's not like I was expecting to realize that like his brother was like a fake this whole time, like to a little more like this going south for him.
So we're back in the Rockmores, and Chris is reading a Skunkator comic. Adam, first episode of Kenan and Kel?
Yes.
Skunkator comic?
Yep.
Didn't Chris's brother, the only other mention of his brother, have a Skunkator collection?
I want to say that it was his uncle.
Okay. Probably.
Yeah.
What's a Skunkator?
Rachel, in the Kenan and Kel universe, Skunkator is a superhero who is a skunk.
He's not the best superhero. The best superhero, of course, is Mothman.
Okay.
That's debatable. It's been debated in an entire episode where Skunkator lost.
Skunk, I feel like, would have a little bit more power than a moth, but I mean, I'm not in the debate.
Yeah, but moths can swarm, Rachel.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Skunks can stank.
I mean, Aaron, the Skunkator does have laser vision, as we all know.
Okay, I'm no longer participating. I don't remember that much. Anyways, yes, basically just like a comic book superhero, Rachel. Chris is reading a Skunkator comic. Roger, Cheryl, and Kenan come in with some groceries, and Kenan gives Chris a newspaper. And what's circled in the newspaper?
Jobs and apartments.
Hint, hint.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of the SpongeBob episode where Squidward's like staying at his place. He's like, "Why don't I call someone whose job it is to fix it?"
It's someone whose job it is to do that job.
You have a job? Why wouldn't I? I'm not some inconsiderate lazy jerk who lays in bed all day.
What?
This does feel very much like that episode.
Yeah. It's also worth noting it's freezing in the house, totally cold, but it's just how Chris likes it. So, just inconsiderate's a good word.
And what about the chips?
Yeah, what about the chips? Ridges. How dare they?
He's like, okay, fine. I guess I'll eat the ridges.
And everyone's just mad at him. Roger and Cheryl take the groceries away. Kenan and Kel have a movie that they're going to watch. And Chris is like, "Oh, what movie?" And he's like, "Well, we're going to watch Graveyard Massacre."
He goes, "Oh, that's scary. I can't watch anything scary." Ever since what? What happened?
Oh, I know. So Chris
Rachel,
tells
yes. Hit us with the trauma-informed discussion.
I'm big on true crime podcasts, and I think this is as close as I'm ever going to get. So
let's hear it.
So Chris
hold on. Ready?
Chris tells a story about how when they were younger, his mom dropped them off at a haunted house and said it was their new home, and then didn't come back for 2 days.
Which fits very smoothly into our Chris's mom as a witch theory.
It does.
If not only she's trying to get them used to like spooky, like haunted house stuff, but she's also maybe it was true that this was going to be their new house, like a haunted house type place.
That feels too perfect for the witch theory.
Maybe it was her house 300 years ago.
Ooh, and now it's all.
Thinking Hocus Pocus vibes, you know what I mean? Like the house is just kind of sitting there dormant for a little bit.
Well,
Yes.
Chris has a very good emotional diagnosis where he says that must have left some deep-rooted emotional scars that you have to struggle with the rest of your life.
or Kel has that analysis, right?
Yeah, Kel
Yeah.
has that analysis.
That was deep
Yeah.
for Cal.
Yeah, but I think Rachel, you kind of said this earlier, or maybe it was Adam. I forget. There's too many people on this podcast. Just kidding, Rachel. Just kidding. Kel like gets Chris. Kel like, but doesn't like hide anything from Chris. He just tells it like it is, and he's just like,
Yes.
yeah, you probably are traumatized from that. Essentially, is what he says.
Yeah, Cal is very realist, very literal with Chris, which is so opposite of, I don't want to say opposite, but totally different relationship than with Kenan, where he follows him around and goes with the flow of what Kenan's doing. And I kind of like how he takes a little bit of a stand when it comes to Chris.
I also think that this might be like kind of on the nose with what's up with Chris and like why he's such a mama's boy. It's like, oh yeah, his mom like traumatized him as a young child,
Mm-hmm.
and that he's very scared and he's very like she's his only salvation.
Yeah.
Right. He had to be dependent on her because he was so scared afterwards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all adds up.
Maybe Chris stayed dependent on his mother, whereas Rick left his mother.
They both
and
had different
became-
reactions to that. One was like, "Get away from me, mother! I don't want to see you no more." And the other one was like, "Hold me, mother! Keep me safe." So maybe it's an older, younger sibling thing. Like I said, we don't know the age difference here.
Mm-hmm.
It's therapy with
Yeah.
Chris and Rick.
Yeah,
The
I would
scapegoat
say
and the
all
golden
Potters
child.
need therapy.
Kenan, recognizing this trigger warning, gets an idea.
Well, also, Chris said it didn't just traumatize him, but it also might have traumatized Rick because Rick doesn't like anything scary. So this is when Kenan's wheels start turning.
Exactly. This is when he metaphorically dials 555 plan.
Later that night, Kenan and the Rockmores and Kel, the Rockmores minus Kyra and Kel, all hang out in the kitchen.
Where is Kyra?
Great question. She's
off at camp.
Can that
I
be a
wanna say-
shirt?
Where's Kyra? Maybe it's like Phineas and Ferb. She does like little like secret agent missions when not seen on screen.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good shirt, Adam. Like a picture of Kyra at every stage of Kyra. It's like, she jumps up like 3 years. She
I did
grows so
hear your
much.
episode about Kyra's age development.
It's pretty dramatic.
Yes.
The actress at this point is like 14 and she's playing like a 12-year-old. It's very off-putting.
Yeah, a lot happens in those years. So yeah, it's like late at night, and the Rock. Yeah, so Kenan, Cheryl, and Roger are around the table. Kel's making a sandwich, and they're trying to figure out what to do with Chris.
Yeah, and Kel's line is so funny because he says, "I don't know how you deal with it. I cannot deal with someone at my house at the time eating all my food." As he's like making a sandwich with a whole head of lettuce
Yeah.
and just a big mess of it.
I like how he puts it in the microwave, I think, with
Yeah.
the lettuce on it. Had big problems with that sandwich.
As they're scheming, Chris enters, which is very panicky. They're all like, "Uh-oh." And I think Cheryl's very much like, "Yes, that's a good question. What are we doing in here?"
And they're talking in the kitchen, but isn't that like a window
It is,
wall?
yeah.
Couldn't he hear everything they're saying? And they're screaming about him, and then he walks in like he can't hear them.
But he literally says, "I don't care. Roger, do you mind?"
Yeah, and then he goes, Cheryl, can you make? I'm waiting for my cocoa. Can you not make it so hot next time? I don't want to burn my mouth again.
Just so demanding. And they're just like,
He's
"All right,
the
that's
worst.
enough. I don't feel sorry for him at all. Let's get him out of here." So Keaton's plan, Aaron, do you want to recount it?
Pretend that Rigby's is a haunted house.
Then we have a Bats transition, and now we're in full Halloween mode for the climax of this episode.
Mhm. It was great.
That's
I love
right.
a good
That's
Halloween theme.
Rick's talking about how he's like, oh, I'm going to stick around after hours, like to do some extra work. And then Keenan's like, what? After hours?
And Kel goes, brave man. Brave man. And then my favorite transition, my favorite like cinematic event in all of Kenan and Kel. So it's like looking at Kel like as he's saying this, and then it zooms to Kenan, Kel, and Rick. And then the camera zooms in, and Rick's like, well, why? Rick's like, why would I be afraid? And then zooms in. Kenan goes, Rick, because Rigby's is haunted.
I did love that moment. He says, don't you know? Zooms in.
So good.
Worth mentioning, this is an episode directed by Kim Fields, Aaron. It's not Virgil Fabian. And this is,
my gosh.
This is Kim after watching Virgil, like, his craft in action. Finally, like, giving a shot at doing a crazy zoom. It looks so funny. It looks so good.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Yeah, Rachel, Virgil is the normal director who's like really great for a like TV audience, sitcom, whatever. But this is just the best. The best. Adam, I'm going to screenshot this and make sure to send it over.
Yeah, great. So Kel is listing all the things that Rigby is haunted by: ghosts, zombies, and bunny rabbits. I don't know if this is intentional, but Aaron, do you remember that
Donnie Darko?
No, not Donnie Darko.
Jimmy Stewart?
Nope. Mental telepathy. Back in the season 1 episode, people thought Kel was psychic because he overheard Chris in his sleep talking about he was being chased by giant bunny rabbits. So I feel like it's like, things that Chris is afraid of, and he's like listing those to Rick.
Yeah, maybe Rick's afraid of the same things, especially if they're twins.
Crazy things start to happen in Rigby's. Terrible things are happening at Rigby's. Rachel, what are some of the things that go down?
Well, you see the lights flickering and a voice that I think could only be done by Adam.
Get out.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
I don't know. Aaron, I'll give you a shot. Go ahead.
Get out.
It's very Andre the Giant. Get out.
Hey, you guys check your messages right now. Your phone. You got to see this picture.
That's an incredible picture.
I might make that my phone background. Yeah,
it needs to be.
Yeah.
And that hair, yep, with that hat. I think I need that hat.
I think there's an even more zoomed in one.
I'm thinking that Halloween, if we ever are all together during Halloween, that we dress up in this uniform.
It's so specific. You're catching on this show just fine, Rachel.
Yeah, that's exactly the energy we need.
Have you seen our t-shirt store? We only sell shirts that we've seen on the show.
I actually almost bought one once. I think it was one of those. I didn't have my credit card on me at the time, but
of course.
But I did see the Rigby's exchange, or the Rigby's apron exchange for Christmas, and that was iconic.
My favorite Christmas gift.
Do you wear it?
All the time.
Yes.
I haven't stopped wearing it.
As you should.
You're wearing it right now over your Luke from Gilmore Girls outfit.
It's my uniform, Adam. It's not an outfit.
So the lights will flicker on and off.
And the walls will ooze green slime. Is this a SpongeBob podcast or a Kenan Kel podcast?
I will say there's a lot of overlap.
Podcast. Yeah, the big orange counter.
So they run to the doors, and the doors are shut. They're locked.
Yes. Oh no! Ooh! And they run to the back, and Roger and Cheryl come through the back doors dressed as fantastic-looking zombies.
Yeah, it's like a zombie, like bride and groom, is what their outfit is.
Yeah. It's like a legit. It's a great costume.
They did a fantastic job with that too. That had to have been fun for them.
It's amazing. Then Kenan's like, I got the door open finally, and Rick just bolts out of there. He's just gone without a trace, presumably to sell Rigby's back to Chris and leave Chicago.
Yeah. Chris walks in right on cue, sees what's going on, sees Roger and Cheryl, and goes, zombies! And starts running. And then Kenan grabs his shirt, pulls him back in.
And he explains all the ways that they like kind of did it. They locked the doors and flicked the lights, and they're in the back. And he says, "You did all this for me?" And Kel says, "They mostly did it so that you get out of their house."
Which was true.
Yep. And so then they're like, "Well, wait a second. Whose voice?" Like Kenan and Kel have this back and forth. They're like, "Oh yeah, Kenan, that voice was really good." And Kenan goes, "But Kel, that wasn't my voice." And then everybody gets scared, and they hear the voice again.
Get out!
Oh,
And they all run away.
Spooky! It's the ghost of Rigby's.
That was a great
they all
little
run.
ending. That was a great little like no
Well,
closure on that until.
Did you guys see the end credit scene?
Yes.
Oh yes.
Okay, good.
Paramount Plus had this one.
Good. Which is great, because you need this one to get the closure.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
So on stage, Kenan and Kel, they're like, Kenan's like, everything worked out fine, but we never figured out who did that eerie voice.
And then who does it? Who do we find out did it?
Good old Kel.
Yeah, he demonstrates.
Yeah.
I think ours were better than Kel's, to be honest, Adam.
Kel's he demonstrates, but it's not the same voice. Like, it's clearly
No.
someone else doing that one.
Not at all.
But they put the same effect on his voice, so.
Yes.
Yeah. I kind of wish they were like, yeah, who did do that voice? And then it like came on again.
It's
And
never
then
a
everybody
result.
in the studio audience was like freaking out.
That's actually a really good idea.
That would have been awesome. Logistically a nightmare, but
Well, Kenan says, like most things, it gives me an idea. Grab some good, some bad, and some ugly, and meet me at the corral. Come on, partner.
Kenan, what's a corral?
Kenan.
Oh, here it goes.
And that's the episode. Aaron and Rachel, whose fault do you think this episode was? Kenan's or Kel's? Or neither?
Ooh. I think they
this is
solved the
nice.
problem. I think they actually
Yeah.
saved the day.
Mm-hmm.
I think Rachel's right. I think we should add +1 for both Kenan and Kel, or -1 for both Kenan and Kel.
So how many minuses do they have now? This is just adding, taking one away.
Yeah,
This is their first benevolent episode, Adam, besides Merry Christmas, Kenan. So maybe it's one of their few benevolent episodes.
Well, hang on. You Dirty Rat was another benevolent one.
That's true. One of my other favorites.
They solved the day by capturing the rat.
That's right.
So, it's one of the rare wins. And I think what's cool is that the intro mentioned that. They're like, don't worry about getting into trouble. You'll have problems anyway. They didn't say, like,
Right.
It'll be a classic. They told you right off the bat it's not going to be a classic episode. I'm kind of happy it wasn't a classic one.
Yeah.
I always like the ones that deviate from the norm. I always do. Rachel, this is something that you don't know about me, but I love the Kenan and Kel episodes that deviate from the norm.
That's nothing like you, brother.
As a whole, what do you think of this one, Rachel?
I thought this one was great. I mean, I feel like I've seen all the Kenan and Kels throughout the years, but I don't watch them every week like you guys do. So it was nice to get back. And I feel like with Kel, he's usually always the problem, and to the point in a great way, in a very comical way. But this one, his little things that he was doing were so minimal, like him tossing the salad or him making the sandwich. Like he still got to have his little moments of annoyance.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't take up the whole episode. It was kind of neat.
Yeah, we just came back from the Hollywood episode where he was written in kind of an over-intrusive way. I think him, like, off to the sidelines doing these little things with his couple lines is very fun.
Uh-huh.
It's the best Kel.
Yeah.
So let's do ratings then. On IMDb, this episode is ranked 43 out of 62 with a 7.3 rating. Aaron and Rachel, out of 10 bottles of orange soda, how many would you give this episode? Let's start with you, Aaron.
I'm going to give this episode a 9.
All right.
I might want to change that up a little bit in the future, but this was just a tremendous. I'm 9.5. Change that 9.5. I love the Roger and Cheryl moments. I love Chris doing multiple things, like multiple characters, and I just like how Kenan and Kel are like doing some good. They actually have like a goal and like they're trying to help. And Chris was just phenomenal. Dan Friedman knocked it out of the park this episode. So yeah, although I didn't have all my extras that I love, this was definitely a great episode. 9.5.
Great. Rachel, you're next.
10 out of 10. Fantastic. My favorite episode ever because I got to watch it and talk about it. And I was here. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that's great. I don't think I'm going to give it as high as some of the other ones that I've enjoyed, but I will give it a 9. This is a top tier episode. I love that they use so much of the ancillary cast. Wasn't as crazy polished with some of Chris's brothers stuff, and the split screens were, dated to an extent. This seems that this is a sitcom trope. This happens very often. That you have it's the character that's played by the same actor, and you do stuff. They did a great job with this one. It deserves to be much higher on our list of episodes.
I think my 10 out of 10 episodes would be the freezer with the ham, and the when they get their heads stuck when they're in the gate when they're supposed to go on a date. Yeah. I think those are my top tier, and now this one.
All good picks.
That's a great list.
Yeah. I'll say thank you so much for joining us, Rachel. You fit in perfectly.
Thank you. I had a great time. Thanks for including your sister.
Yeah, and thanks for pushing it back a half hour. I had a real oh brother moment. I watched the wrong episode before hopping onto our call here. So thanks for your patience, Rachel.
Of course.
As I said earlier, there are 4 episodes left.
I got it wrong.
25% chance just by that. So
I like how you watched the April Fool's episode, and it was kind of a joke on you because it was the wrong episode.
Yeah, oops.
April Fools. Wrong one.
Thank you, Francis, for joining us for this another wonderful episode. Next time, we'll be talking Futurama. Not the show Futurama, the episode of Kenan Kel called Futurama.
Everything is chrome.
Everything's chrome in the future.
Thank you so much for joining us. Rachel, thank you for being here. Are you going to come back?
If you'll have me. I'll be back when Roger's back.
Maybe we'll have to do like the sister episode. Yeah,
right. Are you guys gonna do a sister? Oh man, I gotta think about this. I gotta review sister. I gotta find a sister with Rachel and blank.
Oh well, until that sister podcast and Rachel joins us back on the Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron, we will see you next week for our next episode of Futurama. Until then, everybody, here it goes.
Thank you for listening. You can send us an email at KenanKelPodcast@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at anchor.fm/KenanKelPodcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all at Kenan Kel Podcast.